All right, so Unit 5, Video 3 is solve systems by elimination. Okay, so on this one, we're going to eliminate either the x or the y. This is probably one of the easier ones. Okay. All right, so now we have elimination. Okay, with elimination, you want to make sure that your variables are lined up. So my x's are above and below each other, my y's, my equal sign, and then my number. So this happens to be in standard form, and most of the time it will be in standard form, but just make sure your y is not under your x, okay? Now with elimination, we want to look and make sure if we add, so if I were to add, just like our old time adding 2-digit numbers, 3-digit numbers, if I were to add my x's, would they go away? Would they be eliminated? So if I took negative 6x and I added a positive 6x, I would get 0. So that would go away. Okay, so that's what we want. But let's double check with the y's. So negative 10y, that would give me negative 20y, so that would not go away. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by eliminating our x's. Okay, so if I have negative 6x plus 6x, that gives me a 0x. Now again, we'll drop that. I just wanted to show you what happens. So a negative 10y minus 10y is negative 20y. Okay, and then negative 26 and negative 14 is negative 40. Okay, now remember that goes away. So we won't do that every time. So now it's a one-step equation. So divide by negative 20 and y equals 2. Okay, so for my answer, that's the y value. Okay, now I have to go back and find the x value. So I'm going to take y equals 2 and I'm going to plug it back into one of the equations. It does not matter which one. Pick the numbers that are smaller, pick the one that has a 1, no negatives, whatever you prefer. I'm going to pick the bottom one. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite it. So I have 6x minus 10. Now instead of the y, I'm going to pick a 2. Okay, and I pick a 2 because y equals 2. All right, now I'm going to solve it. So I have 6x, that's minus 20 equals negative 14. Add 20, so 6x equals 6. Divide by 6, and x equals 1. Okay, so there's my answer. Again, if we were to graph them, they would meet at 1, 2. Right there is where the two lines would meet. All right, so now we're going to do elimination again. Okay, but on this one, if I look at my x's, and I add them, I would get 12x. So my x's don't go away. So let's look at the y's. I have negative 6 and 2y. If I add those, my y's don't go away. Okay. But what you can do is you can manipulate your problem to where something will go away. So if you notice, my x's are the same number. So 6x and 6x. If one of these were negative, my x's would be eliminated. So I'm going to make one of them negative. In order to do that, I'm going to multiply by negative 1. Okay, and it actually doesn't matter which one you do. Okay, so I'm going to go negative 1 times 6x is negative 6x. Negative 1 times 6y is a positive 6y. And then negative 1 times 0 is 0. Okay, so I multiplied the top by negative. This one I'm not going to do anything with, so I'm just going to bring it down. Okay, so my x's go away. 6y plus 2y is 8y. And then 0 plus 8 is 8. So divide by 8, and my y equals 1. Okay. All right. So now I have y equals 1. So now I want to go back and I want to find out what x is going to equal. Okay, so I'm going to take this one. So I'm going to substitute it in. So 6x plus 2, and instead of y, I'm going to put a 1 equals 8. So we have 6x plus 2 equals 8. Subtract 2. 6x equals 6, and divide by 6, and I get x equals 1. Okay. So this is my answer. If they were to meet, again, they would meet at 1, 1. All right, so next one. Okay, this is probably the most difficult one, and this is the one where the numbers aren't the same at all, nor are they opposite numbers. Okay, so if I look at 16x and 8x, if I add them, my x's won't go away, and if I look at my y's, they won't go away. Okay, so what you want to do here is you want to look at the ones that's easiest. Okay, and what's easiest here is if, I can make this here a positive 16x. If I can make that negative 8x a positive 16x, my x's would be eliminated. So what I want to do is I want to figure out what I'm going to multiply by to get it to be a positive 16x. And what I need to multiply by is negative 2. Okay? So my first one I'm not going to do anything with, so I'm just going to rewrite it. This one I'm going to distribute my negative 2. So I have 16x, and then negative 2 and 3y is negative 6y. And then negative 2 and negative 29 is 58. Okay, my x's go away. My y is 10y minus 6y is 4y. All right, and then negative 22 and 58 is going to be 36 divided by 4, and y equals 9. So that's my 9 value, or my y value. Now I'm going to plug it back in. And again, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and plug it into the bottom one here. But remember, make sure it gets plugged in for the y. So I have negative 8x plus 3y, but instead of the y, I'm going to put a 9. Equals negative 29. Okay? So I have negative 8x plus 27 equals negative 29. Subtract 27. So negative 8x equals negative 56. Divide by negative 8. And x is going to equal 7. And then that's where they would meet if I were to graph them. All right, last one's a word problem. The gas station sells 2 kinds of salads, a vegetarian and a chicken salad. Okay, the vegetarian salad costs $2 and the chicken salad costs $3.50. Total made was $180 from selling 60 salads. How many salads were vegetarian? All right, so this one's a little tricky. Okay, we have 2 equations, but how we're going to do our 2 equations is one equation is going to represent money, and one equation is going to represent quantity. Okay, so first of all, we have 2 types of, we have a vegetarian plus we have a chicken salad. Okay, and we know they sold 60 of them. Okay, that's quantity. There's no money attached to that. That's the easiest one to do. Now for the money, we're going to attach money to the problem. So the vegetarian, okay, we know the vegetarian costs $2. So we're going to put $2 and attach that to the V. The chicken costs $3.50, and we're going to attach that to the C. Okay. Now we can't put 60, but we know our 60 salads cost us $180. Right? And that's our 2 equations. Okay. Now we're going to eliminate. So let's look at our C's and our V's. If we look, V is going to be the easiest thing to eliminate, because if this is 2, all I need to make this is negative 2. So in order to make 1V negative 2, I'm going to multiply by negative 2. Okay. So we have negative 2V minus 2C equals negative 120. Okay, so I distributed. The first one I didn't do anything with, so we got 2V plus 3.5C equals 180. Okay, now we're going to add. My V's went away. So 3.5 minus 2 is 1.5C. And then 180 minus 20 is 60. Right, divide by 1.5. And C equals 40. So there were 40 chicken salads. Okay, but it's asking about vegetarian. So now remember, we have 60 salads total. If 40 were chicken, then there'd be 20 left over, and those would have to be the vegetarian salads. Okay, so there are 20 vegetarian salads.